cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Welcome to Fourside Fights, featuring Melee Statistics Daniel, Dude, the disgraced Jackzilla, and Ringler is here. Welcome everyone, citizens of Fourside. I'm the real Chroma09, and I know that I wish we stopped hosting this show on Tranquilizer Thursdays. It's a bummer for me. In the NBC News segment about gaming addiction, Mech was trying to rizz up that interviewer when he admitted that he didn't bathe. Hugs86 may have hit a deadlift PR of 395 pounds, but he still owes B-Bats a formal apology, and Aiden versus Nick Yingling is the Sasuke versus Naruto of SoCal bar locals. Let's go to each side. Which player had a better 2024 in your mind in the future, Yingo or Eamon? Let's start us off, beloved warlord of SoCal, Melee Statistics Daniel. Who do you got, Yingo, Eamon, Gaiman?
It's definitely Eamon, because Nick is being really mean to me right now, so fuck you, Nick.
That is true. There's a lot of bullying going on in the back. Let's go to Melee's Great Dane and PM rank certified great player, Studebaker. You got Yingo or Aiden?
Audio. I can't hear a thing, but I'm going to say Eamon Gaiman, because that's my guy. I love you, Yingo, but I just think that Sheik is kind of nasty. That's all it is.
That's no good. That's no good at all, Stude. I do appreciate that you can't hear. That is impressive that you still answered. Let's go to the young gun, shaking it up in the rankings business, creator of RingRank, Ringler. Ringler, who do you see?
I think Eamon, just because he's a handsome boy, he's a good boy, and he rage DMs me every time I beat him on Unranked.
There's a lot of hate in his heart. People don't know it. And finally, our continuously disgraced former host and blur rank shill, Jackzilla. Jack, take your shot.
Yeah, I think Yingling has been really mean to me lately too, and so it's got to be Yingling. I'm into it.
Oh, I don't feel so good about that. Welcome to Fourside Fights. We have four varying quality guests today. We're going to act as pundits as I throw topic after topic at them. They're going to give their takes. If they're entertaining or interesting, or perhaps involve death threats, I'll give them points. If they're boring, repetitive, or patently unreasonable, or get us in trouble with libel laws, I'll subtract. And of course, I can mute any contestant at any time for any reason. I'm probably going to mute Jack most of the time. The player with the most points at the end is our winner. They get to commentate the three losers as we all take to Fourside in a free-for-all so that we can see exactly how their punditry translates to Melee. Let's get started with our first topic. First, I do want to check. Stude, can you hear us?
I'll post the...
We're going to have to post the questions for Stude.
He's on his own journey.
Oh, he is in the vortex right now. I'm so sorry, Stude.
He's doing great.
That's
laughing
like,
at him. Point so he knows.
Yeah, that's definitely plus 6 points for Stude living through this. So let's get to our first question. Someone please type this for Stude. Folks, it is once again that time of the year. Now, some of our guests have danced around this question. Some pundits have delivered stunning sound bites. Many criticized Billy B. Bats for tweeting, Ganondorf is to homophobes, as Peach is to gays. Including Mech, who said, come on, man, that's not true. But after we learned Mech then took to his recently unmasked bigoted burner to tell Billy he'll have to, quote, suck and fuck for this one, cuck, we have to admit B-Bats was onto something here. As we welcome another Ganon to our venerable pantheon of disgraced idiots, we must ask, why are so many of the Ganons like this? And can we build a new character identity for our less brain-melted Gerudo friends? Ringler, you have the floor.
So, as to why Ganons are like this, to me at this point, it's clear Ganon was developed by the CIA to prevent Melee players from developing a coalition and achieving unity among gamers. You know, as to how do we fix this, I think there's two paths we could take. One, just remove Ganon from the game, create a new character called something like Big Man, you know, something that'll attract the people who need to feel strong, and just hope that it gets us out of this poisoned well. The other option throw Danny in a pit, let the Ganon main bloodlust, come out, and just, hope that works too.
I disagree quite a bit. I think there already are big men in Melee. There's Captain Falcon, and Donkey Kong is something like a man, right? He can
It's a
knows
tie.
his own name, and that's huge.
Go to the judges. Yes, Simeon. All right, we're good.
I think that the reason Ganons are like this, I tried to pick up Ganon a little bit earlier this week, and it was ferociously unfun. It was unreal what it felt like to switch off of Ganon after forcing myself to play him for a full 20 minutes, like maybe even 25. So I think that the way that we help Ganons do that, I think that the one thing where I'll agree with Ringler is if we ban Ganon, at the very least, that we know that they can't hurt themselves. We've shown that we are not mature enough as a scene to handle this character responsibly. So I think we leave it to Kage and the kind of grandfathered in Ganon players of late, but nobody knew. We're closing it up.
I think we knew. What do you think, Danny? Because we're gonna still wait on Stude.
I think it's easy. You give me and Cliche big pots of boiling water, and we go to wherever the Ganon mains live, and we give them a choice to just quit.
Yeah? What's the...
And no, we're just gonna quit though. Those things are happening.
What are you making? You making pasta?
I mean, we're cooking something.
Gerudo pasta.
I don't know what that's gonna smell like, but we're gonna cook something.
I think that's a little dangerous. I'm having a call in from my phone here now, so this is a real radio show now.
Thank you, Stude.
We have to send the Ganondorfs back in time to 2011 Tumblr and help them learn about themselves to the healing power. There is no way to fix a society like they have built. We have to go back before this culture existed, and we got to do something about it, really. There's not much else to say about it. We have to let them experience that kind of unfettered pasture in which only self-discovery and soft photo set aesthetics can heal them. That's really all there is to it.
So I have a question for the Ganons in today's world. What archetypes can we suggest for these players, Stude? I know you just took off the headphones.
I think that, in a way they have to go their own way. I think the only natural
that's a dog whistle.
is to take up arms and align themselves with the Game & Watches, because frankly, things are looking bad. Things are not looking good.
I feel like there's so much progress that Ganons could make if they just watched like an episode of an Anthony Bourdain show. I feel like they would learn so much about the world and become better humans just through minimal access to like a traditionally masculine figure who isn't I don't know about minorities.
I think Ringler's actually right. Ringler's definitely right. Because the person who made the recent SoCal PR graphic, Otto, Ganon main. And it's a really good graphic. And he's really nice. So surely something that really speaks to them artistically would surely help. Surely.
Yeah, maybe we need a kind of sliding scale where we stop referring to Ganon players as Ganon players and refer to them as players who are playing Ganon. Do you know what I mean? Because a little bit of Ganon might corrupt you a little, but it's absolute Ganon that is corrupting absolutely. It's when you let it be your whole identity that it takes over. When we meet people who are like Fox player as their identity, it's not great either. Let's be honest here about what the mains syndrome is for almost any character. Ganon is not helped by any of his characteristics or horribleness to play, but other mains are guilty of sussery when people get too into it.
There are no Ganon mains. They're just temporarily displaced falcons.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, Godspeed to the 5 sane Ganon mains. I actually love a bunch of the Ganons. I love Big Daddy Ganon from New Jersey. Now that's a Ganon delight. All right, let's go to a cheerier subject. Before hacks took over the news cycle by releasing evidence.zip 1.5 plus 2.5 HD remix, Dive to the Ban, we were all talking about the culmination of SSBM Rank 2023, also known as the Top Hundo. A lot of chirping about this one, so we're going to split it up into a few topics. First, were there any coherent points to be made by said rankings chirpers, most notably including the Mangus, who called the rankings inconsistent and the panel stupid? When friend of the show Fendi pushed back on him, Mango argued that as a pseudo-public institution, the rankings aren't above being criticized democratically. Mango did not use most of those words. Is Mango right? Melee Stats Danny, I call on you.
No, I can't say no or yes because I don't really know his point. Actually, he's like, I'm below.
You are stupid.
Bad. So I think that's his point. I mean, that's like, I guess that's a fair point. But otherwise, I couldn't really tell you what his argument is and what he really wants changed beyond he should be above H-box permanently, in perpetuity.
I do have to say, I do know that one of Mango's points is not that he should have been ranked any higher or lower. He just dislikes the structure. If you press him on how he's ranked, he's like, yeah, no, that was about right. My year was a disappointment, or what he wanted.
Well, do you think he's tweeting anything if he's above H-box?
He's right about the consistency thing. He's right about the inconsistent, because the attendance requirements, the ways that the panelists decided who to discard or who to include, we have players who are on the ranks and off the ranks with the same or more events from each other, or the same or different total amount of sets from each other. Now, Mango doesn't seem to value the idea that we should decide that kind of arbitrary thing democratically through a panel, but he's not wrong that the final product, when it comes to attendance requirements, appears inconsistent.
I will say this. There was someone who did recommend that we have higher attendance for the top players. This person said, if you're a top player, it's very different than somebody who's just trying to get on top 100, holding down a job, going to like a couple majors when you can, and that our top players should be held to a higher standard. And that person was, does anybody know?
It was Mango, but did Melee Stats release a press release saying that's what the panelists are going to do? Do we have any kind of communication that makes it clear to players that that's what's happening? No.
Why are you saying that? You don't know that. They can talk to Wheat. You just message Wheat. It's just message him. He answers all the questions.
What you really want is a pull system for information with top players. They're really good for that.
Confused on how there's an honorable mention that's in between 11 and 10. Like, how does the math work out where it's like, okay, we know this guy is not top 10, but he's also not number 11. So we've invented a new spot for him. That's what used to be 101. Why are we just now introducing an honorable mention of who knows?
Okay,
Why?
so I'm going to go to my first subtopic here, though, Stude, if you'd like to interject first.
I would, because I feel like Mango really didn't make any cogent points. I think it's an undeniable labor of all-encompassing, unequivocal love for Melee to bring that many people together to make rankings. They don't have to do this. Understand it if he had brought up anything at all that was more than just they've been shitty and inconsistent for the last 6 years. But I think that most often we hear about this when Mango is ranked in a way which he feels is not reflective of how he's done for the year, regardless of what has actually occurred. I really do like to see him pressing himself more lately. He's doing the standard march to Genesis, where he's working hard apparently, and I really hope he does do well at Genesis. I hope we see that instead of what we saw last year. But that gives Mateo, my guy, a nice juicy Mango win. So
I don't know why you're calling this a standard march to Genesis. This is the most insanely focused I've seen Mango on the game in years. He just started. He's publishing podcasts with no face, with KJH just talking about the game and what he learned what Jump Squad is. This is amazing. The bar is obviously on the floor in some respects, but hey, if you can win tournaments with the bar that low, then I'm down for you to clear it. Who knows what could happen next?
I just think that Mango is like a campaigner that sees his poll numbers dropping, and he wants to say, "I'm back in the game, baby. I've really got to prove it this time." And I think as a Mango fan, someone that really enjoys watching him play the game, I want to see it I want to see it happen. I want to see a Mango dub. But I think the way he goes about this is it's petulant.
I think there are a lot of fair points. I'm going to cut everybody off, and we're going to go to one of Ringler's questions, which was that Leffen was supposedly ranked somewhere at 10.5 in your opinion. Where would you have ranked Leffen if you had to rank him? And do you think Leffen should have been ranked despite only going to 3 tournaments?
I think the thing that chaps people's asses is that it wasn't called the notable inactive. I think that we see it on PRs all the time. We see people that don't meet attendance requirements or are otherwise difficult to rank slap under the notable inactive, where it says, yeah, they've got the real chops to be up here. But because he was called HM, the language around it changes and people get really, really tight about it. That's where I would put him. I would say he's probably like 6 is what I'd say. I mean, he's well above anyone. He's well above, I think, Hungrybox. He's well above Mango. He won LACS 5 for God's sake. That was one of the hardest tournaments of the year in terms of the actual measure of talent that was there.
What you're describing is 5th, because otherwise he'd probably be below Hungrybox.
No,
if we were to rank
PLup.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's get it.
I forgot about people being whack about PLup.
You forgot about PLup.
No. Everybody's wrong about PLup, and I'm right.
It's bad that we're all forgetting about PLup.
If my ballot was released, people would be mad.
I called this part too. Everyone forgets about PLup. I did, and I admitted it. But
yeah, Ringler, walk me through RingRank.
Okay, so we did what all of these cowards are too scared to do, which was say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Leffen's number 5, because he is. They both just admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
We just cut the bullshit and just gave him 5. Because that's what we do at RingRank. We don't give a shit. You went to 3 tournaments? Who cares? You're number 5. You did well.
I love RingRank. And everyone who's ranked on RingRank and where they're ranked.
I do think that you have a power, Ringler, which is that if somebody were to come at you and complain about their rank on RingRank, you could blow, vape smoke in their face, and it would end the conversation right there. Whereas I think that there's a seriousness to the Melee stats ranking that makes them more vulnerable to attack from the subjects of the content itself.
If I could take a second just to clear the air, because I've gotten so many questions about why X player wasn't there, and I'd like to say just fundamentally, if you are not on RingRank, it's not because I think you're bad. It's just because I don't like you. It is everyone's rankings on RingRank is a direct result of my opinion of this person, how good a friend they are, how nice they are, and if you're not on that top 100, chances are I just hate you.
Yeah. Like if you couldn't make the 100 list of being nice, it's just fucked.
What changes should be made for next year's rankings in the opinion of all of our experts here? Jack, why don't we start with your blur rank? Terrible idea. Miserable.
Yeah, so I do think blur rank actually has some lessons. Number 1, make the visuals more goofy. I think if we inject some goofiness and silliness to this shit, it will lower the stakes a little bit and make the stress a little less crazy for people. I think right now there's a lot of ways in which the success of the project has started to build a lot of pressure on the creators of the project. That's kind of unsustainable, and I think we can find a better balance. The other thing that I would do is use the visual of a tier list. So I think instead of like top 10, it should be like S tier, A, B, C, and then within them they can be ranked as we normally do, and you can name a best player. But like, I think it's weird that we create this visual of evenness when most players in a tier are kind of just a clump together.
I think the unfortunate thing is that Panda Global is they kind of poisoned that one by doing it and then being Panda.
We can do stuff that they did. Just because Panda Global ran a tournament doesn't mean we don't run tournaments. Like, just because they gave money to Cody Schwab doesn't mean he should go sponsorless forever. Although,
no, I mean we should run tournaments in the crypto arena. That's what it means.
Yeah, right.
I agree with Jack here. There's not enough silliness. Like, that's what we strive to do at RingRank, was just bring the temperature down. And I think that, like, hypothetically, if Mango, he gets 10th place and he's sad, but then he clicks on his blurb and like a little Pong game opens up, maybe Galaga. I feel like that would do a lot to sort of appease the ego. It's like, cool, I got a mini game. That's hype.
I like that idea.
I think we're a little too schneefed up on Cocaine Wednesdays, and the withdrawals from the esports money days are finally hitting us. Wow, I'm getting back, baby. I'm coming right back. The thing that we're seeing this kind of hollowing out of the scene in terms of like funds, in terms of scale, but we have to remind ourselves that we need to be thankful for what we're getting at all. Honestly, I really do think that the issue of scale affected how we feel as a scene we deserve to be, and part of that is in rankings and how seriously we take our rankings and how I understand the value that comes with the amount of time and work that you put into something, as most recent rank number 46 on the PM rank. But almost any PM player will acknowledge that 35 to 50 can be a bit of a clown show at times. We're just happy to be here and continuing to thrive. And I think that bringing that spirit of thankfulness and like appreciation for the people that do make that work possible would help out a lot. I think we need more of that. And maybe we need to laugh now and again, because RingRank was really the funniest fucking thing I've had in my day for the last 2 weeks.
Dude, that got a little too positive there. I was with you until that. Let's get to something a little bit more negative. ETOS is trying to rank 200 players. Is he a CIA plant?
Absolutely. Not since the days of the Chicago Boys have we seen this level of kind of infiltration to a community that has tried to survive on kind of the principles of solidarity and friendship. You bring in these, kind of collectors, these Excel people, and I've met them. I've been amongst them, and there's only one way to solve this problem.
Dead this item.
What was that?
No.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
We're all Excel doers. Run. Someone else say something. Melee stats, Dan.
I just that ranking is like terrorism. It's just I had Jeremy in my DMs for a month being like, isn't Bean he could be top 200. Like, dude, he's like 5th in Long Island. he beat Drunk Swift. It's like, yeah, that's really good. It's like, no, that's bad.
It was high Swift, Danny. Dude.
It is too clown show to do anything past top 100. Even getting 101 sliding in, my guy Justice for making that, is a difficult thing to track. But there is a threshold at which every ranking falls apart after a certain amount of data points, where there just is not enough to truly rationalize what is going on. At the very least, he's working for the Department of Transportation or something.
Okay, come on.
Here to be going.
He's for highway expansion. Yeah, he's moving the Overton window so that Melee stats looks better.
RingRank originally started as a top 500, and we were just like, this is fucking stupid. Why would anyone do this? And we kept scaling it back and decided that top 100 is the only reasonable way to rank anyone. And, as for, is he, a federal asset? It makes me ask the question, have we seen anyone respond to the ranking positively? I've seen a bunch of negative responses. I don't know that I've seen a single positive one.
A lot of people on Start GG.
Actually, a lot of the people in 175 to 178 zone really did like it.
Yeah, well, RingRank's going to be on Start GG soon, so we'll have our own points there.
Is it really?
Is Connor in chat?
Yeah.
Is Connor going to add it to Start GG?
We're working on keeping the top or the bottom 40 randomized on Start GG.
It will change every time.
If that's possible. Yeah, we're not exactly sure if that works.
I'm sure the website can handle that.
Start GG loves feature bloat, and they love adding custom stuff for one-off projects.
The ultimate goal of RingRank is just to make Microsoft do something. At the end of the day,
they got to work.
Yeah, just make them either endorse us or remove us.
We're going to need to know one of two ways. That's a fair point. All right, so this is a segment coming up of my own creation, the Edwin Budding Stock Exchange. I want you all to know that I made up the Edwin Bunning Stock Exchange. It might have already existed, but I came up with it independently. I'm sure all of you are very responsible and know the rankings by heart by now. So tell me, your biggest buy and your biggest sell for 2024. So basically, do you think someone's ranked really low and will go up, or is kind of a fraud and will go down 75 spots?
Biggest sell, mech. Biggest
Okay,
sell.
all right.
Derivative.
And
Definitely biggest buy for me is Salt. I think she's blazing the trail as potentially the most normal Falcon to ever exist.
Could be.
Yeah. Alternative to that, I am equally buying Mango and selling Mango at equal rates. So I'm always breaking even.
Nice.
That could be tough. I mean, a lot of volatility. Do you want to straddle? Do you want to strangle? You got to come up with an option structure there. I'm going to take some
And at the
points off.
start of the next cycle, I'm just buying more.
That's always good. Got to keep pumping. Stude, who do you got?
I'm honestly prone to buying it on Junebug. I think whatever character he decides to roll around in the hay with this year is definitely going to probably pop him up to top 20. Unseen, unheard of heights for DKs this year. But really, I think that him being one of the number ones in Project M, doing all of this with Dr. Mario, with Donkey Kong, frankly, has been insane. And reaching top 4 with that, I'm very much looking forward to the Young Link Revolution when that comes in 2026. I think that I'll go ahead and sell off Ginger, not for reasons of thinking he's not going to do well, but I think he is slowly stepping away from the game, or at the very least becoming more of a normal person, which is about the.
I think you're right about the normal person part. I do think that will make Ginger better at the game, though. There's a precedent for that.
You have less time to do it, but you're doing it better.
Yeah. Jack, you've been quiet on the economics question, uncharacteristic.
I'm thinking. So to me, I think the upside of some of the buys is really high, but falls in Melee tend to be kind of jumps of 5. So if I'm looking for a big jump, it's a little bit harder to find than the down or up. Sorry, it's harder to find down than up. I think for up buys, I'm buying Josh Man. He's going to be in the States. The last time we imported somebody from another country who was being held back from attendance, who we knew was goated, they were called AMSA, and he gets second, right? And I think Josh Man has proved that he can actually take sets extremely close with everybody in the top 10 and probably just needs the reps and at-bats to get further. Asify, very similar story. That's a great buy of 41, probably going to get top 20. I think a sell might be, I think for me, Morse Code is a sell. Great year, but I don't know if you're going to replicate the win on Cody again and the win on, I think it was Jmook. And I'm going to disagree with Stude. I'm going to sell Junebug. I think Junebug is a busy bug and is going to be doing content and commentary. And I think that the high ranking this year is a lot to do with the DK renaissance. And I think that the water has reached its high tide and people are going to start practicing against DK, which is always not great for people who are mid-tier enthusiasts.
Donkey Kong washed. Ringler, what do you got?
Bias against PM players here.
Well, in any time, I mean, we see people like Cynical Master who did not attend a single local the entire year and only went to majors, which has followed a strategy that I've taken. I've said to SoCal players, I'm going to stop going to locals so you fuckers can't practice against me. It's the reality that we live in. As for Junebug, yeah, he can pick up any low tier he wants and probably break top 100. I think the question is, at what point do we stop letting him do that? Do we really want to see a Game & Watch get top 100? I fucking don't. Have you seen PM or Game & Watch and PM? That character's atrocious. I don't want to see someone succeed with that in Melee. And I think he has to be stopped.
More tolerable. I'm giving the apologia here.
I got one more buy. Chroma. May I sneak in?
No, Stude got cut off. We'll maybe come back to you if the ads have not.
I thought his
yet.
mic cut out because
Yeah, I've been
All
having
right, that's enough. Be nice.
3.6 Game & Watch was a monstrosity. You were correct. I will say there are many Game & Watches pushing the character very quietly right now, but that character terrifies me on the low. I think that Game & Watch has a punish game on many of the fast fallers and does fairly well, but just has that dog neutral. It's not going to be nearly as bad as 3.6, I tell you right now.
If Junebug goes Game & Watch this year, he does not break 90. He does not get 89 or higher. I would bet so much money on this. Game & Watch is so...
disagree.
I disagree.
If Junebug ever announced that he was switching to Game & Watch, I will personally bet you $50.
He's not
that he
beating
gets top
Dawson.
70.
I will
He's
also
not beating
bet
Dawson.
Yes, he is. I 100% believe he's beating Dawson with Game & Watch.
Okay. My other buy, by the way, is Justice, who has on a technicality snuck into the 100 spot, proving that melee stats is not not going to happen. You're shaking your head like the CIA is behind you. What's going on?
Well,
Where's the fix?
we're not submitting to the woke mob.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, then Justice is my buy at 101. I think Justice has indicated a lot of interest in traveling heavily, practicing and grinding this year. I think pretty much any time a Fox is like, this is the year I'm gonna go full tilt, they have a good shot of going from 101 to 60 if they're cracked out enough. You're shaking your head no. You think Justice can't win?
I think there's a lot of sells, honestly, this year. I mean, I like PLup's not going to Genesis, and that was like 25% of his tournaments last year. I think Zuppy's going to Falco now. There's a lot of players who I think have achieved what they kind of want to in the game and are considering being less active, taking a step back, and I respect that. I just think it means, any stock I have, I will be selling in them, which is unfortunate.
That is a great point. I am going to move us along to the next question before Jack comes up with another 72 players to trade.
It's Black History Month, and you're saying sell Justice. This is
All
wrong.
Right, that's enough. I'm not saying sell Justice. I'm saying Fox can't do well, and that good things can't happen to Fox players. It's very simple.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'm very clear about that. I'll give you a couple points.
Super clear.
As it is February. After a year of vacation and consequently us watching Doc Lee get repeatedly put in the sand burial jutsu by Juan Gara de Biedma, we've been hearing some fire come out from the Mangus. And I know we've been talking about this a little bit, the podcast. He's got the no camera with KJH. He's also talking about with Joey how 2023 was boring and that it was his fault. He's fired up after being ranked 8th behind a completely checked out H-Box. He's biking 10 miles a day. He's playing basketball. He's dunking on Eamon. Is the fire back? What do you think we're getting out of Papa this year? And could we trick him into playing Puff again?
At a certain point... Oh, you can go ahead.
I mean, I think he'll play Puff when the sub cruise happens.
Yeah, it's
coming.
Years.
I believe.
All right, I'll speak up about this. Y'all seem to be stuck. We're getting sexy Mango this year. He is on the bike. He is working. Okay, I remember years ago, there's this clip of Mango talking about how he is purposefully not as hot as he could be because it proves to himself that it doesn't matter. He's like, I know I could be really hot, but I choose not to be because I like it when people like me for this. And this year, he's going to prove it to all of us that the tank top Mango from 2013 is not a dream of the past. It's a dream of the future. Okay?
I'm optimistic for Mango, honestly.
I'm a big fan of the potential. Like, I feel like Mango could rebrand his image, not as a player. I'll get to that. But as his image, I mean, I feel like Mango could pull off like a samurai look, like just a kimono, and a sword at tournaments. He could get away with it. I think that'd be cool. Like, he gets in shape, starts, eating like omusubi at every tournament. I think that'd be dope. As for if he's back or not, at a certain point, we got to realize we're asking, is Mango back so often? Would we ever notice if he was here? We never stop with this line of questioning in 10 fucking years. Like, is Mango back? Is Mango back? Let him show up when he wants, We don't have to keep doing this runaround of like, oh, is this the start of a new era? Just let him fucking play the game.
We have to do our talk show.
This is giving at that like early 30s. I'm trying to be a better dad for my kid, and we're the kid waiting at home, man. Like that's all we want is just like a mango that's healthy and giving it the work, basically. I think that this is either, like I said, kind of the Oorah campaign drive where, I'm getting the automated texts as I'm on my family phone plan wondering if I can support Mango in his coming trials and tribulations. Or if this is actually a turnaround and we're really seeing like, okay, we're hitting the gym, we're doing everything we can with the stream, we're making content, but we're also hitting the sticks and really grinding where it matters. And if this does end up being a holding pattern and his new normal, as opposed to just a pattern he decides to lock into for a little bit, now that's a Mango I'd like to see.
I mean, I think he's getting really involved. I mean, he was at my local last night, literally on commentary. So I mean, like, I think he really
so back.
He's really into it. He was very involved. He was having a good time. I think this is a Mango year. This is definitely a buy Mango year.
He's back.
I do think as Melee fans, we all need to be grateful that the inspiration roulette wheel once again landed on Melee, because like, imagine if it landed on like outlifting Hugo. Like the year would be done. Who would give a shit? Like, yeah, Mango's lifting 450 pounds. That's awesome, but we're never seeing the Falco again.
And good riddance.
I mean, he's got little.
No,
he could be deadlifting. We don't know.
I do want to see Mango deadlift. I feel like that would be a hype. Just see him do the big three. Just putting up incredible numbers. Oh my god.
We're gonna get there. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. Now for some more depressing news. Next week, Evo will be making their yearly announcement where they announce things about Evo. Let's cut to the chase. What is our best chance at getting Pokimane, Rick, and their squad of TOs who are all from Smash to put Melee on the big stage for one last beautiful Vegas ride? And why am I this ready to be hurt again? What is wrong with me?
I bought my cookies, so I did my part. I don't know about anyone else on the show, but I did my part.
And they were fairly priced while we're at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
purchased my reasonably ethically made cookies.
Absolutely.
All right.
I just maybe unpopular opinion. I don't give a shit about Melee going to Evo. What am I gonna do? Walk around the worst part of the strip in 100-degree weather? Like, if I want to play 10 best of threes, I can go on ranked. And if I want to gamble, I can just log on to a fucking sports betting website. There's nothing I can't do at home.
This fucking entitled Smash player fucking attitude here. We've got it all. We don't need this shit. I want to walk the shitty part of the strip. I want to be drunk and stumble into pools with 5,000 other people present. You watch Evo last year and watch Leffen winning it, and I'm just, let me in. That being said, I think there's no chance we get back to Evo until we put up 300, 400 people in the Melee bracket at Combo Breaker. I think the FGC is waiting for us to show up to come back. The invitation is open. They're not letting us into the big show, but they'll keep putting out the little feelers, and until we say that we're ready to stop being, all uppity about our opinions on best of three, the door is closed. Unless we can get Pokimane in the DMs really excited.
I think the predominant issue comes from just like how separately we built ourselves out in the post-era Evo era from the FGC. We had our opportunities to show up for those in the interim, say that, okay, we don't need just the prestige of Evo. We want to be included with the TFGC. We want to be in there doing what we can to really show that we are a part of this community. But instead, we kind of, in between 2018, 2019, we said, okay, well, we don't need to do that. Then COVID happened, so nobody had anything, and we haven't come back after the fact. The thing is, we just have not intertwined ourselves with the FGC proper, and I don't think that we can, unless we do what Jack is describing. I also hear Evo just kind of sucked from a friendly standpoint. I hear it was not a great time outside of showing up, playing your matches, and then you have all of Vegas to explore. the actual tournament experience I heard was not ideal back in the day.
It's not a good time. It sucks.
And so is it about the idea of being at EVO again that we're getting so frothed up about, or is it simply that this is something that we want for the sake of like being back? Like the Melee community is so vastly in love with the idea of EVO because it's a key part of our mythos. It's a cornerstone.
Name your 4 favorite Melee sets.
My 4 favorite Melee sets?
Is one of them an EVO set?
Actually, no.
Fucking hipsters.
No.
Jesus
What would
Christ. You guys don't get it. Oh, I'm so mad.
Okay.
I will say,
here's the thing for me, is that a lot of my favorite Melee sets grow and change over time because the Melee I'm watching is the most important Melee in front of me, right? What I am seeing in the current era is the best Melee set ever been played. I do love going back and watching old sets. EVO isn't really in that catalog, honestly. I don't know.
This is unreal crack smoking. Like,
what are your sets from EVO?
Have we gone so far down the rabbit hole of modern Melee is great that we throw out the great Melee at EVO?
What are the sets you like, Jack, from EVO?
Let me
What are your top 5?
On his route to the win. Hungry Box falling on the floor as he hit the most clutch ending of a first set. Being in the huge arena.
this is
one set.
The
almost beating Armada. Rishi almost beating Armada. That one dude in pools side being Leffen.
Let me cook.
I will say. Okay, I'll interject then.
Okay.
2 things. I will say the single greatest moment in Smash commentary history, in my opinion, is the final words of Scar during the HBox Armada set, where Scar so brilliantly puts it, HBox pushes forward on the gray stick, and that's it, which I think is the single most beautiful thing that's ever been said about this game. And my second point, there's so much disagreement happening right now, but I do want to extend the olive branch to my opponents in the realm of punditry. So I'm pleased to announce that later today, Pokimane will be making her top 100 debut on RingRank as a gesture of good faith to get us closer to our goal.
Somebody
What we're talking about.
There it is.
All right. We're making progress. So let's go back to Melee Evo. Genesis 10, the big one. Basically, everybody will be there. I bought flights. I did not enjoy booking into San Jose. I am financially ruined. It doesn't seem like PLup's going, and Moki has been struck down with some sort of mysterious 1800-style disease. Prayers up for Moki, of course. Should we be worrying about PLup? Or should we, as Moki asks us to do, stop talking about players who aren't here and just focus on who's going? And outside of that, who's your pick to shock the world at Genesis?
I'm buying in on Sol. I'm Sol. I think she's got it.
Why?
Because she's the craziest Falcon that's ever fucking existed, and I think given the right run, no one can stop her. I'd put money on her versus Zane. I would. And if I lose that money, I'm happy to lose it.
I actually think there's something to this. In a room with a real crowd that is as big as Genesis gets, I think Salt could just have a crowd that literally overwhelms the entire nervous system of her opponent. Yeah. I think that Salt is maybe with Magi and is maybe the only player that could summon a Mango level of support from the audience just on the run to top 8 or during top 8. And I think that is very, very powerful, but Salt's got to get to that point first. And that's dicier.
This is some choice Texas hog riding from me, but I think SFOP can really damage this year. I think that he has consistently shown that he can keep up with players like Jmook. Even when Jmook went on to win the event, he was one of the few that really pushed him extremely hard outside of the top 5. And I really do believe that the practice and work that SFOP has done over the years can only continue to get better and better. That said, I have commissioned a team of Alaskan sled dogs to head north to Moki's location with a diphtheria vaccine just in case.
As the person in this call who will help rig the seating for Genesis, you should not be buying any of the stocks for anyone mentioned, because I will rig it against them now to make my fellow pundits look foolish. On the flip side...
in that case, I think Danny's going to win Evo.
Yes.
Danny's gonna win.
I agree.
Danny's gonna win. Danny's gonna win Evo.
Yeah, nobody watches these 3 weeks in the future.
I do
That's
think
true.
the Leffen bracket, it could be nice. It could be good. He kind of did low diff Moki like what, a month ago, 2 months ago at the match. I think Ossify another person to watch out for in bracket. I watched his session with Zane recently, and I've seen him voodoo invent Marth hitboxes that I just did not know existed. I just didn't know you could do that. You can create those things, but he just does it.
I've never seen that part of Tipper Town before, but I will say there is no way Leffen's not dropping out. Let's get real. We are getting hurt again there. Otherwise,
I refuse to get hurt, Jake. Please let us have it for once.
What kind of seeding can you offer Leff to overcome the problems that are currently facing Leff Nation? What's the highest you could offer?
Friendly Fox Dittos, friendly Kadoran will be. I think we could entice him with a Kadoran. You know,
that's not what you're gonna do. Danny,
Private
give
security.
him Wolf code.
And it's not related to Leffen at present, is why do you have Cheesecake Factory merch, Danny?
Oh, I worked there as well. I got it during our employee appreciation week.
That is
Cook,
just
Steve.
quite. I just saw it and finally realized what it was, and I was like, wow, I've never known anyone that Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
merch.
I don't know anyone else either.
Have there been?
I didn't know we had any kind of Cheesecake Factory merch until it was given to me.
Are we gonna see another switch before the episode ends?
We may see a switch. We'll come
I think
back to that. So this is actually a great time for our sponsored segment. So this one comes from Fourside Champion and Nick Yingling, who is representing, it says here, Goats Esports. So the Goats Esports sponsored segment. He asks, and I ask you all, has Jackzilla switched? If not, who has switched? Jack, have you switched?
What is Yingling talking about? I don't know that Yingling has a model of me pre his imagined switching that is detailed enough to know if I switched. Did he just see hair go long different?
Not asking about if he's smart enough to know that you switched. Did you switch, Jack?
No, I don't think I switched. I think I'm just me.
All right.
I'm honest, Jack. Jack, you kind of switched. You switched hosts. You switched roles as host and player.
Oh,
you even switched what characters you play now and again. I mean, it's disgusting, really, that you can exist in a state of fluidity.
Well, hold on. That sounds.
May I interest you in Ganondorf?
I do think Jack. There's two things Jack has never switched up on, and it's land value tax, and it's Star Wars Episode 8. And I don't know why it's those two, but that's what it is. As for which form of matter Jack is, I think it's personally more gaseous than anything. You know, it doesn't pool in one place. It just sort of flows to wherever there's something to give points to.
Jack's actually really bad at giving points, so I'm taking away some of your 200 points right now. Melee Stats Danny, what does the science say about Jack switching?
I mean, he was in the center. Now he is in the bottom left. I think that is just a switch.
But last episode, he was also on the sides. So is that a switch?
True. I will also, notable switcher, by the way, Gio Rossi, Null GS.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
Unbelievable.
Tony the Tiger flaker.
What's wrong with that guy?
Awful. Awful.
Makes me
awful,
upset
awful.
every week. I don't see him.
Miserable. He was supposed to be the chosen one.
He was.
Speaking of heckling Geo, admittedly, I'm a little outside of my circle of competency with this question. At an FGC tournament, Frosty Fausting's Guilty Gear star Umisho criticized a raucous crowd for crossing the line and heckling her friend mid-match. Other onlookers claim the spectators' holy right to holler. In this modern age, what is the line for cheering and heckling at Melee tournaments? I want you to decide the most borderline situation that you can imagine. I want you to carve that with your brains and your minds. Who wants it first?
I have spent so much time across my career thinking about this, and I think I finally have the perfect solution. The rules are no rules for the crowd. They do whatever they want, full bloodlust, full blood sport, but all the players are in sterile, soundproofed, white padded cells, and they can't come out until like 10 minutes after their sets ended and the crowds calm down and disperse. I feel like for a crowd to truly peak, there has to be some kind of worry at the physical safety of the players. And it's up to TOs to figure out how do you keep players out of risk while allowing the crowd to indulge in their darker instincts. And I think the padded cell is the safest way to do that.
You're basically advocating for StarCraft 2. I mean, they really put those guys into some little plasticine cages.
Hey, that game people still like that game.
Still a great game. Don't get it wrong. But I do always love to look back at old VODs, and there is just Mike Hayes sitting in between two players in grand finals, leaning forward studiously and popping off and hugging mostly Mango when Mango was winning. I think that the concept of having personal space from the crowd is a fairly recent development in Melee history, and we do have to remind ourselves that thank God we have stages that are at least 4 feet off the ground at this point after someone wins grand finals.
The only cheering that's acceptable is the ones for people I like, and it's bad when it is for people I don't like.
Well, Danny, what if it makes them nervous?
Then I will refrain from cheering at all. I will never cheer for Grab because it will make him nervous.
That is true. But what if you dislike him and it makes them nervous?
Oh, then I'm so loud.
Yeah.
So
So
loud.
you're just like a piece of shit then, huh?
No, I'm being really nice to
He's a beloved Melee
the other
stats Danny who can never do
anything.
Danny, embrace the arch. Jack, bail us out here.
I've got a couple opinions on cheering. First and foremost is that our cheers are just not good. We need to take a page out of like European football clubs and really get complicated. We and
They're
Mikey
really
were
racist.
experimenting
Yeah,
at last
quite a
year's
bit.
Genesis, and we couldn't even get the crowd to sing Moki to the tune of the Halo theme, which they should know, right? And that would have been great. So we're gonna workshop a couple more. We're gonna try to bring the people up to the standards. I think pretty much the closest I've come to the line was when I was doing the hand cam recordings at the Big House. I was doing commentary of Morse code and IBDW, not a foot behind IBDW's head, and saying things like, "This is the most important stock for a Samus in years." Which was true. And I think that if it had been a problem, I hope that I have a relationship with Cody such that he could have turned around and said, Jesus fucking Christ, shut the fuck up. But I'll never know because he didn't. So I think different players have different levels of tolerances. And if you're actually trying to win the tournament, you should be pretty much ready for almost anything.
I mean, you just bring the noise canceling headphones at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You know it's gonna like affect you. Like
Mike Hayes brought gun range headphones to tournaments for years. He developed this. All I'm saying is you can take my chant of "Hey Hungry Box, look over here" from my cold dead hands. You'll never get me to stop saying that.
That's just good, clean family fun. That's all I got to say there.
I will
All
say,
right, we've made absolutely no progress on this. We got to go to the next one. Let's try and get a really productive annual review going. 2023 ended with a lot of doom and gloom about being broke, and also Nintendo is back, and there are narratives, but there aren't narratives, but there are narratives about narratives, and I just don't give a shit. Genesis hit massive attendance records. It broke 1,500 for Melee alone. New tournaments are being announced all the time. Pat's House 4 and the Less Good Full Bloom. New York City had a whole year in review presentation, which showed a growing player base and attendance record, as do other local scenes. But out of the summer's top 10, we got 2 guys sponsored by Ludwig, 3 decades-long generational talents, huge streamers, multi-game expert gamers, some of them, J-Mook, and 4 unsponsored players. And then Aklo's got some crypto thing going. In your opinion, how are we doing? How are we doing right now?
I'm doing great. I as the person who is paid to look at local brackets every day and watch streams to make sure that I post the sets in the Melee Sets Discord. They have the right characters on there.
Lie sometimes.
It's so much Melee. I think it's good. I think a lot of local scenes are booming. So many people are attending locals. A lot of like really good talents attending locals. There's a lot of stream locals. I mean, on a local grassroots level, I think Melee is probably since 2020, the best it's ever been, easily. Probably better than it was in 2018, 2019, even, if I had to guess. Like, people just show up for the game, and they show up a lot, and it looks like they're having a great time.
You would say that from the Melee Stats Ivory Tower with your patrons. Fourside Fights Patreon is at an all-time low. We're down $40 from our peak. The Melee Stats Patreon, Melee Stats Patreon, self-admitted in the patron chat. Everybody's like, well, we don't really care how much content you make or don't make. We're here for the community. Where's my community? I'm sick of it.
Well, hey, the money I'm paid is just going to Kevon and Schmoop at Verdugo when I go every week.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's a good system. That's a self-sustaining economy right
That's
there.
Right.
Dude. I think...
Yeah, I gotta say, I think that Melee is in a profoundly good spot right now. We are, sort of outside of the realm that we had crafted with all the money we were getting after 2020. All this hot crypto juice getting flowed in is just gone. The juice is gone, and it's loose somewhere off in the ether. But the fact that locals are doing well, the fact that registration numbers are looking really solid, and the fact that people are enjoying the game at a high level is really fucking important, right? The vibe is so much better than the doomer shit we were dealing with before COVID. Because honestly, I remember just how bad everybody felt after the game. After tournaments would end, they'd be like, well, is Puff number one? Is it because HBox is number one that we feel this way? And it's like, no, we just needed to work it out a bit, honestly. I think
to choke more.
Yeah, I think COVID really kind of shifted the timeline, and it sucked, right, while we were in it. Slippy was a godsend, but it still sucked. But now that we're out of it and we're reestablishing ourselves and we have a good baseline, it's easy to see that the game is in a good spot.
Yeah. It was really important that Hungrybox discovered that he was good at a second thing.
The wantent.
I think, at the end of the day, the scene's fine because nothing is really changing. We're still, TOs, Connor is still working himself to the bone. They're still fucking crazy going at seeding, and we're still going to show up, and we're still going to show up to our pool hungover and complain about it. And just incrementally along the way, hopefully we hear less slurs. And I think we're making good progress towards that.
Maybe. I think that was everybody, right? Does anyone have anything else they wanted to say on our yearly review?
No, my friend Orc Warrior put it best, which is I think people are waking up to the fact that it's chill to just have a little community to hang out with. And we've got enough people that are hanging out that we're probably going to be able to just kind of hover at this size, give her plus or minus, 10%, 20%, until we become religious or something, because you got to have community in your life. And for most of us, this is it.
I've always called Melee locals a church to me. A beautiful third space.
Left Catholicism and went straight to Melee.
Yeah.
Dave will convert us all one day. So I probably do. I'm obligated now to say something nice about Full Bloom, as I roasted Jack's tournament in favor of mine. It's back after 8 years. Pat's House 4. Georgie is taking control of Triton Gaming. That's all we needed. Okay, but we're quickly approaching the part of the season where we go from no events to no more events, please, and Full Bloom the weekend after. So we've got Cody, Mango, Zane, Aklo, Joshman, Sunsei, Polish, and more are committed in the middle of winter to going back to back. Will these players actually travel to 2 majors, or are they going to drop out? Is the vibe this year load management or shotgunning events?
I'm here for shotguns, honestly. I think that last year we kind of had we had to go through the initial breakup vibe that we kind of had with a lot of the sponsors, a lot of the feeling of the scene, right? There was a lot of structural damage we had to deal with and reevaluate ourselves from. This year, I think it's all love of the game, man. I think we're really we're feeling it. We realize like, oh yeah, we can still just do this shit ourselves, man. We can still get out there and make this happen. And I think that not having that sort of safety net for a lot of these players kind of brings us back to the period of time where you'd watch, like, you just have some top player at your local some week in the summer, right? Like that could really become a tangible thing. Is that kind of model of just like, oh, this guy's just in the area, right? I remember when Pure Kirby 2, also known as Dark Atma, showed up at the first local activated in Texas for no fucking reason. And that kind of thing is just something I'd love to see come back, is just a top player showing up, just traveling out for a tour of the locals. You know, that kind of thing was really important, I feel like, from 2014 to 2017. And it was something that as we got more and more money into the scene, kind of started to fade out, because these guys could lean back on the sponsorship salary. You know, if they got to chase the bag, they got to come out.
And now I'm sad about GG and the locals tour.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of the day, like the best place the scene could ever be is like Stude is saying, is top player goes to the local, wins it, and then just uses the winning to buy everyone a round of drinks. And I feel like we're in a good position to move there, to keep that spirit alive. I mean, you know, heaven on earth is the local before the major, you know? Mm-hmm. That's when everything's gravy. And the more that we can tap into that feeling, I think the healthier the scene's going to be.
So to get back to your question of will these players drop off being in back-to-back events? I think we have our little hooks in. Once again, Full Bloom has pulled off the heist of tricking people to go to Southern Indiana, not Indianapolis, an hour south of Indianapolis by bus or Uber. And the reason is because Cody Schwab moved to Michigan. And because Cody Schwab moved, it's relatively convenient for him to go. And once Cody Schwab, #1 in the world, is committed, and he's got a relationship with these events through, they kept flying him out for Kilroy in the past couple of years, you can get Mango, and it's going to be streamed on Mango's channel. Once you have Mango and Cody, then you can get Zane. Once you have Mango, Cody, and Zane, you can get Aklo, Sunsei, etc. And so I think that they are going to pull off the heist one more time. We'll see a couple dropouts, but I actually think something's in the air. So people are content pilled, and Cody and Mango and Zane are going to make some content in Southern Indiana.
I'm going. I'll be going to both. I'll be at Genesis and Full Bloom. I'm really looking forward to it. It's exciting. I'm so excited. And if anyone drops out, I'm flaming them on the Melee Stats Pod Twitter account.
Hold on, but what if they drop out for sad reasons?
Oh well, then no. I mean that's really sad. I don't want to that's sad, man. I don't.
Yeah, Danny. Someone's dog just died. Now you sound like
shit, man. Don't say that. I'm glad. If I see them streaming on Saturday when they were registered for Full Bloom, I would feel very justified, I think.
They're streaming and they're crying and they're asking for donations for their sick dog.
Oh, well then
Kind of seems like you're the bad guy, actually.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Bad for Daniel.
I will say, you know, I've always wanted to go to a Full Bloom. That name keeps popping up and it always sounds so enticing. And then I look and I see it's in Indiana, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with that?
All right, let me hit you with the pitch. Okay,
right,
it's a college town first.
You need this. I need to send this to my dad, by the way, because he's very skeptical.
As lovely and liberal little pocket as you could want, if that's like your kind of first order concern. It's dead ass cheap.
Out of my tournaments.
The hotel is connected to the venue. It's all one building. There's food in the venue. There's the hotel in the venue, or you could walk 5 minutes to like every kind of cuisine from around the world. That like it has a legitimately great multicultural like food scene right down the street from the venue. So I always love going to their house.
every food they've ever heard of in Indiana, which is like
no,
chili.
fuck you. It's an internationally respected university that brings in people from around the world. Eat shit, you fucking elitist.
It's true. Most American universities gap every European university by so much that is actually looped around to being correct again.
Yeah, but European universities usually have bars on campus.
You just don't get it. You just don't get it. Am I wrong, Danny? Am I wrong, Stude?
I'm not going to send your pitch to my dad, is what I think about the pitch.
Dude, is the food good?
I think my dad's going to be like, where is Bloomington,
your fucking dad? Stude.
The most diverse thing you can get is like a cool hot dog.
What the fuck are you talking? This is fucking muted. This is evil. The one guy who could bail me out.
I literally.
No, he's good. He's fine.
The thing you already had me sold on was it's attached to the venue. The hotel is attached to the venue. That's all I fucking need, man. I've never been there. It's my first time going to Full Bloom. I'm in the trailer, I think, talking about how much I want to go to Full Bloom. So I'm going to Full Bloom. I guess this is the tacit announcement that I will be there for varying reasons, as you will soon learn. But yeah, very excited to make it.
If you leak it now, I'll give you 50 points.
There's PM there, right? Is there going to be PM?
Yeah. Not officially. It's under the
Nintendo.
50 points. That's like 7 points in a normal episode.
What
a lot of points.
Still a tiebreaker.
There is still a tiebreaker, but I haven't thought of it yet. So, there might not be a tiebreaker.
I'll be strong for Bloom's sake and for Horde.
The loyalty, but it will punish you.
Wow.
That's how the show works.
Unreal.
It's how we had the Edwin Budding shenanigan that I'm not allowed to reference anymore. All right, next question. This is our last one before the tiebreak, so heat up. Cody Schwab is formerly our new number one. Is Cody Schwab the GOAT Fox? And if he isn't, how close? All right, never mind. Alternate question. Which top player could you get to lift the most total of the 3 lifts, bench press, squat, deadlift, if you train them for 6 months and you're allowed to give them the usual amount of steroids a Hollywood actor would have?
Oh, it's fucking Joshy.
Tell me.
Did you say top 10 player, or is it any like?
I just said top player.
Yeah,
you got fiction.
Right.
Josh is 4. All right, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a tall motherfucker. He's got long fucking arms, like even maybe longer than mine. He's got a big fucking wingspan. So he's got great build for deadlifts. If we're putting that boy on the sauce, I can get him with 5,000 calories a day and a grocery budget the size of a small army. We'll get him lifting heavy. At the very least, I think he's got a good shot for it.
The thing about Josh is he's also a psycho, so he will eat 6,000 calories and work out 4 hours a day off the sauce and not feel anything. Do you think he'll get hurt?
No, I think we put him on like 3 Zins a day and about 200 milligrams of Tren, and he'll be all right. I'll make sure he does his stretches and his deloads. Don't you worry about it.
That's good. All right.
You could get Josh, man, to drink so much milk.
God, he's going to milk. That's
He's going to be like a baby cow.
It's going to be whole milk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My pick is, of course, Mango. I think you put any wall against that guy and you just give him some light insults. You tell him, hey, there's no way you're ever deadlifting 405. And he gets there in 6 months. Just through some divine intervention, he finds his way towards possibly Olympic levels of talent.
I can see it. I don't know, Danny. You're in trouble here. I don't see how fiction could match either of those beasts. Tell me more.
So this is a guy who's grinded imagination, man. He's just gonna manifest that he can do it. I just can't see a world if you just tell him yeah, man, it's just part of being a human. You gotta you gotta deadlift this much. He's like, okay, hey, I'll just do it then. And then 6 months later, you remember how he trained up for the smash boxing? I can easily see fiction just doing the same thing.
Yeah,
what
he
did he
already
do?
did this.
What did he do? He would go to tournaments.
Got ripped. Yeah, I think this is.
So he beat down Uncle Indy too.
It was really more that he would ask people to punch him in the face at events, which I think is the core, right?
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. He could do it.
Right. Jack, who do you have?
This question doesn't really interest me too much. You can pass.
All right. The correct answer was, of course, Nicholas Yingling. Nicholas Yingling has probably one of the best natural builds to push insane amounts of weight, especially on squat. I can't believe everyone missed it. I am truly disappointed. And now we are at the tiebreaker of our show, which I have not come up with yet, so I'm just going to think about it for a little bit. What's this all for?
For love.
God.
It's for creating a little slice of heaven for us on Earth. You know, we go to tournaments and we lose and we get mad, and that sucks. But at the end of the day, we get to be surrounded by people, by like-minded individuals, and we get to cheer for our favorites. We get to show our love in form of reverent, idolatry. In some cultures, these people will be worshipped as gods, and I think that's beautiful.
I think it's to have something that pushes us to be more than just like an individual in a way. I think that competition is a drive that many people experience and find in strange places. And that Melee is something a lot of us fall into, not because we thought we'd ever be here, but because at one point we were that kid that said, yeah, I'm the best at my school, man. I'll be great at this tournament thing. And it all went downhill and uphill and downhill and uphill from there. I mean, I really do feel like it's about finding something in ourselves that we see in other people, and really building those bonds. And in a way, yeah, Ringler's right. It is about love in a way. It's, sick. Fucking love Melee.
I have nothing really poetic to add. I think that was both beautifully put. So all I'm going to say is that I hope Jay Danger gets stuck in fucking Europe, because they pinged me again in the stupid Melee Stats Discord for another PR that dropped to add it to Melee data. I'm gonna add it. I hope they just have visa issues and just have a terrible time in Valhalla. Just have a miserable time. And then I really can't wait to see them in Genesis. But really, this week I hope it's miserable for them. That's all I wanted to say.
Incredible. Jack, you got one shot here.
No, it's over. +1 on Danny. I'll add that I think it's just that America has had declining social capital and institutions for the past couple decades, and we've stumbled upon one, and so we're desperately clinging to it. But I also, as I started to construct that in my head, I was like, Dange 3L. I was thinking of all the people I'm mad at. So Danny's right.
Dange.
I think Danny's right. I think that was probably the most profound thing I've ever heard on this show. Really strong episode, way more points than failed host The Cheat or Jackzilla would give out. I had the courage to do what was done, but Melee Stats Danny has had the courage to win this episode. We're going to go to the free-for-all between our three fantastic competitors, and wait for us. We're probably going to play ads. I don't really know what we're going to do. Be back soon.
Damn.
Well, bad news, everybody. Mikey has taken back the stream key, so we're in trouble again. I just see pitch black. I don't know. Did anyone else see anything? Oh, Jackson.
Oh, I can see. I'll describe it. That there's a lot of fighting happening, and Ringler is spamming up B much, and he just shield grabbed.
Ringler's back Hillary party.
I think Ringler has solved Fourside Fights, the fight.
I think so too. So Danny, how are you doing today? I appreciate
I'm good. I had a good day at work. Although traffic was totally a pain, because anytime it rains in LA, it's actually awful.
I remember something where Contra was getting blown up because someone was making fun of Oregon for shutting down after an inch of snow, but you need to realize they just don't have the infrastructure at all to handle any of it.
Yeah, LA. I think in LA, for example, the public's, I don't know what department it'd be, but people assume it's not gonna rain, so they never clean out the gutters. So when it does rain, it just automatically floods, because the gutters are just full of leaves and things that prevent the rain from going in. And it's just,
I moved. Oh god,
that was fucked up.
You saw that. I wish people saw.
Stude just Falcon punched. Yeah,
no.
it was really
I'm
unfortunate.
Sorry, Chad, I can't describe the horrors. I know that's partly my job sometimes, but I'm not going to do it.
No, it's not worth describing.
No, it's going to be on YouTube. You're going to see it there.
It's oh.
So Danny, you're going to Genesis. You excited for that?
Say again?
I feel like your results are getting pretty solid in SoCal. How do you think this SoCal squad is going to do?
Who's going to do?
like I'm talking like you can go down from Zio down to like the Glassbury types, Alberto, that sort of gang. Like, I'm thinking about Cliche's run last time, right?
Yeah. Well, not last like the last one, but the one where he did really well.
Yeah, the 2-time.
Yeah. That one, I'm still crazy. I still cannot believe that run. That run is just so absurd. I don't get how he just beat was Mott Money preeminent, Eggy.
Mott Money preeminent and Eggy. I think
that's just a crazy 3.
That's kind of nuts. I don't know. Is like SoCal gonna rise again, or are we just bad now?
No, I feel good for SoCal right now. I think like this year was a nice we're decent. We're okay. I think basically everyone except Casper and Salami, who was on the ballot, got in the top 100, and that felt about right. And I think we're gonna do better because I think when we have Mango back now, I think Zio's getting better. I think Koopa's getting better. I think Salami could have a good year. And if all of like Breakfast and Alberto go to things, it's over. We're doing it. This could be the year. But I'm still. I just remember last Genesis being like an actual miserable experience from a SoCal perspective. So I'm not holding out hope, or I'm not gonna be too optimistic. Oh my god, the
Arcadian players did better than Mango.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Cliche placed the same as Mango.
I think he might have. Yeah, something like that, right?
And Nut maybe too.
Yeah.
Anyway, congrats to Jackzilla for winning the Fourside Fight.
Jackzilla actually won that. You're gonna have to see that one on
yeah,
YouTube.
That's a crazy one.
What happened? What happened, everybody?
I saw Jack get Falcon punched.
I saw
Jack did get Falcon punched.
The DK. I didn't get Falcon punched raw. I was taking advantage of.
Everyone picked scissors but me.
Yeah. Oh man. So hopefully we'll see everybody at Genesis where we're supposed to do a live show. I'm not entirely sure what the logistics of that are. It's always a little bit funky at tournaments. We hope to do that again. What shout outs do you have, Danny? Because you won.
Oh, shout outs to Blue from Indiana, who I'm excited to see at Full Bloom, and is like 90% of the reason I'm probably going in at all. Shout outs to my supervisor for letting me leave like an hour and a half early.
We love that for you. And then Jack, you technically won this fight even though you got Falcon punched. What do you have to say for yourself?
Thanks everybody for being here. It was a good show.
We gotta get you hosting. I can't do this. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Always check out the YouTube video. Look out for us at Genesis, and we'll see you another time. Bye, everybody.